Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Atlanta, Georgia, the former home of the WCW Power Plant. It is where we are hosting GAW Academy Showcase, and we begin today with the GAW Intercontinental Champion, Will Ospreay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for welcoming me to the GAW Academy. This is not a place that I have much experience with personally, but the number of men and women that I've met that have come through here, and this place has totally changed their life, really opened my eyes to what is going on here and how important it is to the development of our wrestlers, to the development of GAW. But the reason why I'm here is twofold. One, I really want to get into backstage. I want to meet everybody. So throughout the night, I'll be talking with all the wrestlers and trying to get a sense of who they are and who could be coming to GAW in the very near future. But more than that, I have a very special announcement that I want to make. As you know, coming up is GAW Tidal Wave. And as is tradition, before Tidal Wave, we will have our GAW Academy Showcase. A match between two of the best that the GAW Academy has to offer. And so tonight, just a few days to go until that showcase. At the end of the competition, at the end of week 3, the top 4 men left standing will fight in 2 matches. The winners will compete in the GAW Academy Showcase. And you can ask your host, you can ask Yun-Son Park, there is no better way to get yourself acquainted with GAW than to compete in that showcase. So boys, good luck tonight, and to the 4 of you that will be competing for that spot, good luck to you. I'll see you around for the rest of the night. Let's get to our first match. Well, we thank Will Ospreay for coming down here to Atlanta. Of course, Ospreay is preparing for his match at Tidal Wave. We're not quite sure of the opponent yet, but I can take a guess given how much Conor McGregor has been around recently. And he has announced that tonight we will find the identity of the 2 men that will be competing at the GAW Academy Showcase. Garrett Gibson hopes to be one of them. He's coming in here at first place in the standings with 6 points and a 2-0 record. This match will go a long way into determining who will be the 4 men competing for those 2 spots. The man taking on the Lone Star, the undefeated Lone Star, is Flyboy. Let's take a look at the standings right now, and you will see how important this match is when you look at the top 5. Garrett Gibson sitting with 6 points. If he wins here, he will clinch himself a spot in one of the qualifier matches. If Flyboy wins and he ends up with 6, then he puts himself in a much better position to end up in one of those matches as well. Later on, we will also see Kurt Andrews, who is just on the outside looking in, hoping to find himself a spot in one of those qualifiers. Tall test here for Flyboy, as Garrett Gibson is undefeated in the GAW Academy and undefeated, obviously, in the Stormchaser tournament, coming in with 6 points after he won a special tag match with Cody Rhodes. That was back in episode 2. Go check that out. Flyboy now. Check this out. Flyboy with the code red. Flyboy comes in after a win over Lighter last episode, a shocking win, if I may say. I wasn't really expecting it, and so he is used to dealing with the bigger competitors, chopping down the Redwoods, as it were. Garrett Gibson kicks out about a minute in. Flyboy comes in with some incredible athleticism and also with one of the most developed cardiovascular systems. Gibson with the DDT plants him. Meanwhile, Garrett Gibson brings in his stellar amateur wrestling background, a two-time Olympian, a Pan Am Games gold medalist. Both of these guys do have amateur wrestling backgrounds. Flyboy was an All-American wrestler at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Gibson, nice judo throw. Backs Flyboy up into the corner with a big strike. Referee goes down, able to get out of the way after the massive Garrett Gibson was coming in hot. So this match will go a long way to determining who will end up in those showcase qualifiers. We will also see Kurt Andrews later on, and we will see Andrew Wesley take on Overload. 3 big matches when it comes to qualifying for these, and we will, and on the women's side, we will see the 2 sisters, Katherine and Kristin Sakamoto. They will do battle, certainly not the first time for them. Flyboy lifts up Gibson for the suplex. Gibson gets the knees in, and an All-American clothesline. Gibson drops Flyboy with the giant lariat, and Garrett Gibson picks up the win. The Lone Star remains undefeated with a 3-0 record and that All-American clothesline. Wow, what a dangerous weapon that has turned out to be. That is really something. Flyboy put up a fight, and Flyboy's actually gotten kind of unlucky when you look at who he's had to go up against in his first 3 matches. He's had to go up against some big boys. And Garrett Gibson got the better of him this time, hands Flyboy his first loss in the Stormchaser tournament. It gives Garrett Gibson 8 points, and it will clinch a spot in the qualifier matches for the Lone Star. We've got more on that to come, and it starts up next as we have Kurt Andrews taking on Steffer Drummond. But first, more good news for Garrett Gibson, as we are pleased to announce that Gibson, next episode of GAW Academy Stormchaser, he will take on the GAW Academy champion, Scott Danielson, for that championship. Gibson picked up a win over Danielson in the first week of competition in the Stormchaser tournament, and now they will main event another Stormchaser show, this time for the Academy Championship. Congratulations to Garrett Gibson, and we are very excited to see that match when it comes around. Up next, Kurt Andrews against Steffer Drummond. Kurt Andrews making his way to the ring, and Andrews, boy, he's had himself a week, hasn't he? You see him hold the XCW Intercontinental Championship. Now, he won that just a day after we saw him last week on GAW Academy Stormchaser pick up a win in the Stormchaser tournament. You can go check out XCW Exclusive Championship Wrestling on Facebook. Kurt Andrews, as I said, is the current Intercontinental Championship. And in order to win that belt, he had to go to a darker place than we've seen him here in the Academy. And you can see it by the way he's coming out, his new clothes. He's grown his beard a little bit longer as well. So this is a new and possibly even more dangerous Kurt Andrews repping that Intercontinental Championship. Congratulations to him, by the way, for winning that. And he can just continue this great run here if he is to pick up a win and put himself in great position to compete for a spot in the GAW Academy Showcase. That's much easier said than done, though, against tonight's opponent.
How did you find
The man coming out, Stafford Drummond, has had a tough start to his Stormchaser tournament. He started 0-2. We saw him take a loss to Leiter back in week 1. It was a hotly contested match, and he lost to the undefeated Garrett Gibson last week. So certainly two men that are considered favorites in this competition. But Drummond certainly can't be happy about his standing right now. I don't know if Stafford Drummond is actually ever happy about anything, but it's not going to get any easier for OSHA's least favorite son as he goes up against the newly crowned XCW Intercontinental Championship and another man who is considered a big-time favorite in this tournament. Let's get to the match. Kurt Andrews, we've seen how effective he can be when using the Eye of the Storm. We saw it last week in the Stormchaser tournament, helped him pick up a win, and that's exactly what he used to win the XCW Intercontinental Championship. Both these men are really, really good athletes for their size. Kurt Andrews maybe a little more so than Drummond. But Stafford Drummond starting out pretty well here. Couple big strikes from OSHA's least favorite son. Now dumps Gibson into the corner, goes for the lariat. Gibson gets the elbow up. Gibson now going for the schoolboy release and an enziguri. Letting everybody know. Kurt Andrews is so capable at pushing the pace of his matches. It's really incredible the way he can do that and how much athleticism he brings to the table. We're seeing just more evidence of that here. Big boot from Drummond to the gut. Once again in the corner, Andrews gets the elbow up off the ropes into a drop kick. Andrews now going for the springboard Phoenix splash. Stafford Drummond out of the way. I told you how quickly Andrews will push the pace. An absolutely terrific athlete is Kurt Andrews, and now drives Stafford Drummond in with the snapmare driver. Andrews now, look at this. Soul kick, enziguri combination. He calls it the failed mutiny. Does that mean Stafford Drummond has failed in this match? Stafford Drummond kicks out at 1. Kurt Andrews doesn't want to play any games here with OSHA's least favorite son. Double underhooks in, and Drummond lifts him up. Look at the strength. Drops him with the Alabama slam. Drummond now goes for the cover. Kurt Andrews kicks out. A win here for Kurt Andrews would leave him with 6 points, and depending on future results, that would almost certainly secure him a spot in one of the 2 qualifier matches for the GAW Academy Showcase. Andrews going for the crossbody. Drummond out of the way, goes for the kick. Andrews catches it into the dragon screw. Neither of these men have a wealth of professional wrestling experience between the two of them. Andrews has only been in this business for about 2.5 years. Andrews going for the Meteora. Stafford Drummond out of the way, and Andrews gets nothing but concrete with those knees. Drummond looking for a suplex. Andrews blocks it and drops him. Andrews spent much of his life in the United States military. He's an immigrant from England with a proud British heritage. And Andrews now hoisting Drummond up for a Michinoku driver. The strength of Andrews can never be underestimated. Andrews now moonsault, light the torch. Andrews not going to leave it there. Again, trying to end, maybe going for the Eye of the Storm. Stafford Drummond catches him, rolls it into a single leg crab, but Andrews very smartly is there. One thing you will notice about Kurt Andrews is that he has a terrific mind for the business despite being so inexperienced. Stafford Drummond going for the cover. Kurt Andrews kicks out. Andrews made his debut in the GAW Academy in the Stormchaser tournament. Jawbreaker onto Drummond, and now Andrews has the wrist lock. Drummond with a huge forearm nearly turns Andrews all the way around. Stefford Drummond still looking for his first win. Drummond also made his debut in the GAW Academy, starting with the Stormchaser tournament. Check this out. Drummond with the springboard cutter. Drummond now hoisting Andrews up into the suplex position, turns him around. Get a job. A phrase that Stefford Drummond heard all too much throughout his life. This is his job now, and Kurt Andrews kicks out. The Buccaneer avoids the end of the match, but is it truly the end? Kurt Andrews lifts him up again, maybe going for get a job, but Kurt Andrews gets the knees up. Andrews now has Drummond up in the suplex position in a tiger driver. Or a tiger bomb, I should say. And Andrews kicks the arm in. Andrews off the ropes. Andrews, for a second time, lights the torch. Coming down with all his body weight, compressing the chest of Stefford Drummond. And Andrews now, boot, double underhooks, lifts him up. Kurt Andrews, Eye of the Storm. That's gotta be it. Leg hooked. Kurt Andrews wins. The proud XCW Intercontinental Champion picks up his third win. Kurt Andrews, what a match. Stefford Drummond gave him all he could handle. Kurt Andrews kicks out of the get a job, lights the torch twice, and then takes Stefford Drummond to the Eye of the Storm. What a terrific performance from Kurt Andrews. And Andrews now with 6 points almost certainly will be in one of the qualifying matches for the GAW Academy Showcase. Congratulations to him. And I am told that Stefford Drummond has something to say after taking his third straight loss. I wonder what that could be. Kurt Andrews, goddamn Buccaneer pirate. I don't give a shit what you are. Look, here's the deal. They brought me in here because they needed a body. And clearly, they thought that I would just come in here and go 0-8 or 0-10 or however many fucking matches we have and be on my merry way. Well, that's not how it's gonna go down today. OSHA couldn't get rid of me. Oh, goddamn, they tried. You know they tried. But they couldn't get rid of me. And the GAW Academy can't get rid of me. They put me in over my head, giving me all these matches and all this bullshit. No. Look, I think I just tore something in my elbow by doing this, okay? Look, I've been in this business for 30-some odd years. I've had 25 career matches. This shit ends today. This is the last loss that Stefford Drummond will be taking, okay? That's how it's gonna be. All right, you understand me? Starting next week, Stefford Drummond will begin his own undefeated streak. The longest of my career, 4 matches. It's coming home, baby. That's right. 4 matches undefeated. Let's go.
たまたまやってたまたま勝てただけで
Katherine first came to me when she was very young and actually very inexperienced when it comes to both wrestling and mixed martial arts. But the one thing she did have was a total desire to learn. She is without a doubt the most coachable person that I have ever met in my entire life. And it's a big reason why I took her under my wing and trained her individually outside of any kind of schools or gyms that she was going to. I believe that I saw a lot of myself in her and a lot of my competitive desire that I take a lot of pride in. I saw bubbling up in her. And the more that she talked about wanting to win, and the more that she said that she wants to be the best ever, the more that I became convinced that she is going to be the next big thing. And so whether it was mixed martial arts or wrestling, whatever it was that she wanted to do is what I wanted to help her do. after she notched her 4th win against an MMA legend, that was when she said, "This sport is not giving me the joy that it once did when I started on this journey. I want to take on professional wrestling." And so we sent her to a dojo. She once again became the most promising student that dojo had ever seen, and I was not at all surprised. So now congratulations to Katherine, my favorite student, the woman that I truly believe is going to be a legend in this business. She is going to do more things than I ever could have, both in mixed martial arts and in wrestling. She is going to carry on the legacy of the great Japanese martial artists that go on to become legendary professional wrestlers. And I hope for nothing but the best from her going forward. I am so, so proud of her.
Making her way to the ring is the legend killer Katherine Sakamoto, and you heard Kazushi Sakuraba talk about Katherine and how much respect he believes that she deserves, and certainly Sakuraba is a man who deserves a lot of respect in his own right. He is a big reason why Katherine is regarded the way that she is. She is a relative newcomer to professional wrestling, but she spent so many years in the mixed martial arts game and earned herself a whole lot of credibility there. Coming out on the other side is her sister, Kristin. Now, Kristin has spent a little bit more time in professional wrestling than Katherine. Katherine stayed in mixed martial arts, where Kristin won the Invicta Atomweight Championship and then actually moved on straight to professional wrestling. And these two women have fought each other several times, and they are both ultra competitive. So don't expect to see any kind of either of these women, I should say, going easy on the other one in this match, because I don't think it's going to happen. Two distinctive styles. Kristin comes in obviously with more experience in professional wrestling. Katherine still goes to a lot of her mixed martial arts roots, and you're seeing it here with some ground and pound. Like I said, no love lost between these two, despite how close they are, out of the ring. I mean, if you ever see them backstage, they are always together. They're, going over their matches. They watch film together. These two are very, very, very close, but they're also, like I said, incredibly competitive. Goes for the strike. Katherine answers. Katherine now, look at that, with a judo toss into a slam. Coming in with that MMA background, she uses it so very well. You want to talk about a legend killer, then you're talking about a woman who has beaten Ronda Rousey, Chris Cyborg, Gina Carano, all in her career. Oh, and I forgot Amanda Nunes. God, how could you forget the Lioness? So you're talking about, if you had a Mount Rushmore of mixed martial artists, those would be the women on it. And Katherine Sakamoto has beaten every single one of them. Now goes for the toss over the top rope. The strength of Katherine Sakamoto on full display, going for the cover. Kristin kicks out. We talk about where both of these women stand right now. Katherine started 2-0 in the Stormchaser tournament. Kristin started 1-1, but her one loss is to the Academy champion, Lazara. So certainly no shame in losing that one. We saw Kristin come back with a big win over Suzuki last episode. Katherine, meanwhile, has piled up wins over Martina Del Sol and Alex Nolan. And Katherine now into the knee bar, rolls her over, and this is just one of the many deadly submissions that Katherine will use. Kristin able to get out of it, but the damage clearly done to the knee. Katherine's been in control for most of this match. Kristin, though, able to fight out of the corner, strike to the lower back. Kristin tries to take the waistlock. Katherine, go behind, and now Katherine looking for the back suplex. Kristin flips out of it, and now Kristin could have the advantage here. Northern Lights suplex. And Kristin now doing a little ground and pound of her own, stomping on the head of her sister. And Kristin, look at this. Kristin going for a submission of her own, looking for the rear naked choke. I don't know how effective this is gonna be moving forward. Oh, it is! Kristin has choked out her sister Katherine. Wow. What a shocking result that is. Kristin uses the rear naked choke against the MMA legend killer herself and gets the win. Not a tap. Katherine passed out. The referee was forced to come in and stop the match. Wow, that has not happened to Katherine very much at all. But Kristin Sakamoto, the rear naked choke, gets it done. Congratulations to Kristin. What a win for her. Both women now sit at 2-1. Wow, what a match. We have one match remaining in the Stormchaser tournament before we get to our 2 qualifier matches for the GAW Academy Showcase coming up before Tidal Wave. And this is also a big one. Andrew Wesley looks to answer his loss last week and bounce back with a big win over the 400-pound world's strongest man, Overload. Andrew Wesley right now has the opportunity to bounce back after a loss last episode. Wesley was defeated by Eddie Hernandez, the leader of the Hernandez brothers, and so now he has the opportunity to come back with a win, although it certainly will not be easy. The man he is facing, Overload, has started 2-0 and looks damn near unbeatable, coming in with his size and power. But if anyone's going to do it, it would be the Bonesaw, Andrew Wesley. There he is, former world's strongest man. And I've been asked to mention again that Overload claims to have moved one of the Stonehenge monuments 6 inches to the left. All right, I've just been asked to repeat that. Either way, regardless of the validity of that particular statement, Overload certainly is one of the most dangerous men in this competition, and he is about to show it to the Bonesaw, Andrew Wesley. This is going to be a lot of fun, and a lot is on the line here in terms of who is going to one of those showcase qualifier matches. Strategy from Wesley here is going to be interesting. Immediately takes Overload off his feet with the feint clothesline and then a lariat to the back. The trick is going to be cutting down the massive Overload. How many times can you get him on his back? That's the real question. Overload now has him up and just throws him down like a sack of potatoes. Wesley now, look at this. Nice tiaras with the head scissors. Wesley so far doing a good job. Wesley possesses a frightening amount of strength for his frame as well. Overload drops him over the top rope with a big-time clothesline. Overload mocking the Bonesaw, telling him to get back in the ring, and Overload will now follow him out, but Wesley was waiting for him. Big strike from Wesley, and now targeting the legs with some big kicks. That is the right strategy, in my opinion. We've seen a lot of men try to cut down the 400-pounder. Many have failed. Is Wesley going to be the one that finally figures it out? Wesley wrenching Overload's giant arms across his neck. But Overload just too strong. Overload possesses a lot of raw power. You don't see the kind of toned muscle. The frame, Wesley slides in, drops Overload, and it's Overload's 400-pound frame lands right in his face. Overload kicks out at 2. The Overload doesn't possess the toned muscle. The toned muscle. It's more really the power muscle. Wesley slides in with some knees to the ribs. How's that for you, Overload? And Wesley now with a standing Spanish fly. Wow, how about that? Wesley going up top for the moonsault. Overload gets the knees up, but Wesley right back up, kicks him down. What a performance so far from the Bonesaw. Trying to cut Overload down to size. And Wesley, look at the strength of Andrew Wesley. Oh my goodness. Backbreaker power slam combination. Wow. Absolutely incredible. And Wesley now has Overload back. The redemption locked in to the 400-pounder. Does Overload have the strength to get out of this? We just saw a submission victory for Kristin Sakamoto, but Overload too strong, rolls Andrew Wesley over. Clubbing blows from Overload avoided, but he still gets Wesley back into the headlock. Wesley not going to let it deter him, tosses Overload over the top rope, and now Andrew Wesley. Take a look at this. Wesley has Overload in trouble, stands him up with a DDT on the apron. Wow, Andrew Wesley has taken Overload to the brink here. Wesley now, again with the tiaras. And he drives Overload's head into the hard outside, and it's busted Overload open right above his nose. It may have broken his nose, that. Andrew Wesley rolls him back in, far leg hooked, and Overload kicks out at 2.5. You can see the blood streaming down from Overload's face after Andrew Wesley spiked him into the ground. And Overload could have Wesley in trouble. Overload with a huge backbreaker. A lot of Overload's offense will target the backs of his opponents, knowing his size. Andrew Wesley now trying to hoist him up again. Overload with a few big elbows. And now take a look at this. Overload hoisting up Wesley into the powerbomb position, and Overload runs him into the corner with a buckle bomb. A win here from, oh my God, Overload. Look at the strike, just drops Andrew Wesley down to one knee. Overload with a win here could join Kurt Andrews with 6 points and very possibly confirm himself as one of the participants in the Academy Showcase qualifier matches. We'll have to wait on the results of Oliver Parker and Ulysses Sky's matches, which we will tell you after this. Meanwhile, Overload going straight for the neck of Andrew Wesley. We've moved under 5 minutes left in this match, and what a match it has been. Wesley able to get out of that one, going for the slide again, and Overload saw that one coming, drops him down. Overload now drives Wesley in, right on his face. Wesley into the headlock. Overload gets the arm, and now Overload takes him down with the STO. We haven't seen Overload bring in some of his most effective power moves as of yet. I think he knows that he's going to have to do a lot of damage to the Bonesaw in order to really make them effective. But 6 minutes into this match, I expect we'll see him at any point now. Overload going for a slam. Andrew Wesley turns it into a headlock, back on his feet. Wesley now with a rolling neck breaker into a face breaker over his knee. And now Wesley, another standing Spanish fly. The strength of Andrew Wesley to get the 400-pounder up in the air for a full flip. And now Andrew Wesley, schoolboy, release, enziguri. It's west of the rising sun for Andrew Wesley, and he may have just put away the 400-pounder. West of the rising sun, and no, Overload kicks out. Overload fires his shoulder up off the ground. Andrew Wesley trying to get some momentum from the fans, but Overload could have some new life. Overload into the corner with a big splash. Wesley ducks the strike and tries again to cut down Overload, and he does with some big leg kicks. Under 3 minutes to go. Wesley now just targeting the legs of Overload. Remember, Overload comes in with a couple big splashes that he uses to great effect. Again, Wesley trying to cut him down with a slide, with a slide, and Overload out of the way. And now Wesley brings Overload back through the ropes, and Wesley just working on the lower back. Wesley now backstabber. Wesley hits the backstabber after Overload was locked in the ropes, and Overload kicks out again. Overload's been on the defensive for most of this match, but credit to Andrew Wesley because he really has not given up, and he has not succumbed to frustration, which could easily happen, especially after Overload kicked out of West of the Rising Sun. 2 minutes left. We got to start thinking about a potential draw here in this match. Maybe Overload slams Andrew Wesley down. Overload with the hospital ride, and Andrew Wesley kicks out. Oh my goodness. Into the corner goes Andrew Wesley. Overload almost effortlessly hoists him up onto the top rope. Look at this, is not a good sight to see a 400-pounder up like this. Overload tosses him back. Overload, the ring's down. Overload has collapsed the ring. Oh my God, this is unbelievable. Overload has, oh my God. Oh my God, folks, we're gonna have to sort this one out as far as the points go. But let's send it backstage right now where our host Yun-Son Park is waiting. Wow, you can tell the end of that Overload match brought me out of my seat back here. That was incredible. So before we move forward, I should address the scoring of that. We're going to officially score it a draw for both men, and so that means 1 point each for Overload and Andrew Wesley. So that leaves Overload, I believe, with 5 points, and Wesley goes to 4. But congratulations, gentlemen. That was absolutely fantastic. When it comes to the GAW Academy Showcase, I know better than most what it means to be in that match. When I was told that I was going to be in it, I almost didn't realize how big of a deal it was going to be. I didn't realize what was going to happen. So when I showed up there, I tried to treat it as normal, and it was when I was walking through the back, and I walked by Samoa Joe, who was the world champion at that time. I walked by Pac, who was the cruiserweight champion at that time. I walked by the legends that were standing back there. I mean, it was incredible. It was an incredible feeling, and I understood what it meant to be in that match. And to be honest with you, I kind of let the emotions get the better of me, and so I lost. I lost mine. But just because I was there, just because I happened to be in the building, I got an opportunity at the GAW Cruiserweight Championship, and I finally just channeled that emotion. And I beat Pac, and I surprised myself. I did something I never thought I could do, and took down the Cruiserweight Champion. And it has opened so many doors for me, and has made me really the luckiest man on earth. And so now it's a big reason why I'm back here and helping everyone, because I want everyone to experience that moment that I experienced. So we are about to see 4 men compete for the chance to feature in that match and possibly kick off their careers, and follow myself, follow Casey Catanzaro, who's since become the United States champion. And Casey, I'm very sorry for what happened to you. By the way, I'm rooting for you, girl. Keep going. But there is one more thing. Not only are you going to get the opportunity of a lifetime to compete in the GAW Academy Showcase, but to the man who wins the GAW Academy Showcase, we have worked out a deal with GAW. You will be the first to challenge for the GAW Intercontinental Championship after Tidal Wave. No matter who holds that belt, and I hope it's Will Ospreay, you will fight him for the IC title. Even more on the line now rests on who wins
the Academy Showcase. So to the 4 men that we are about to find out fighting for that chance, good luck, gentlemen. This could be the start of a legendary career for you here in GAW. Wow, well, after that incredible display of strength by Overload, it still only is 1 point for the big man. We will get to what that means for the men's standings in a little bit, but let's first talk about the women and where they stand. Let's go through the 3 matches that we did not see, starting off with Yamamoto defeating Suzuki. That sends Yamamoto to 3-0. Soul Food, Martina Del Sol takes down Alex Nolan. That is Del Sol's first win of the Stormchaser tournament. And then the GAW Academy champion Lazara beats the Japanese sword Katana. That sends her to 3-0 as well. Where does that leave the women's standings? Well, we've got 2 competitors left undefeated. Lazara, because of her win in the opening battle royal, sits atop with 8 points. Yamamoto at 3-0 comes in with 6. Katherine and Kristin both tied after Kristin beat her sister 5-5. Suzuki and Martina Del Sol both at 1 and 2. They sit with 4. Alex Nolan and Katana are winless with 3 points each. Now, let's get to the men's side. Starting off with, of course, Overload and Andrew Wesley. We obviously saw that match, and we would like to confirm for you that it has been officially scored a draw. And so that means that both men will get only 1 point. We'll talk about what that means for the standings coming up. Meanwhile, Oliver Parker picks up his 2nd win, taking down La Tortuga Roja, sends the Mexican legend to 0-3. Jackal defeats the street fighting legend Lee Carr. The champion, Scott Danielson, finally gets on the board with a win, taking down the giant Tonga. Mexican Shaya also picks up his first win, handing Leiter his first loss. And finally, Eddie Hernandez, leader of the Hernandez brothers, defeats Ulysses Sky. So now let's get to a just crazy men's standings right now, and we will begin actually from the bottom so that we can leave it a little bit of a surprise who is going to these qualifier matches. Stefford Drummond, Tonga, and La Tortuga Roja all are 0-3, 3 points apiece. Mexican Shaya, Scott Danielson, and Lee Carr sit at 1-2 now, as well as Leiter. They all have 4 points. And Andrew Wesley at 1-1-1. He also has 4 points, but because our tiebreaker is record in the Stormchaser tournament, that gives Wesley the advantage. Now over to the top half, and you will see that Garrett Gibson at 3-0, 8 points. He is in the lead, followed closely by Oliver Parker at 2-1. He's got 7. Both of those men are headed to a showcase qualifier, and now we have to parse out what we have next. 3 men sitting at 6 points, Ulysses Sky, Eddie Hernandez, and Kurt Andrews. Well, Ulysses Sky at 1-2. He has 2 points because of winning an opening battle royal, but Eddie Hernandez and Kurt Andrews both sit at 3-0, so that means that Chopper Hernandez and Buccaneer Kurt Andrews are headed to a GAW Academy Showcase qualifier. Garrett Gibson will take on Hernandez. Oliver Parker will battle Kurt Andrews. Those are the final 2 matches of today's episode. They are going to be a lot of fun. The guys are rested. Our ring is repaired. Let's begin with the Lone Star taking on Chopper. Yeah, our boys made real quick work of this ring. And thank you so much to our ring crew. They are absolutely fantastic, and certainly this is not something that they were expecting to do tonight. Either way, we start out our 2 GAW Academy Showcase qualifiers with the undefeated Lone Star, Garrett Gibson. We already saw him in action earlier. He took down Flyboy, and now he gets a chance to have his first match on the GAW main roster, but he has quite a test in front of him for that. The Chopper, Eddie Hernandez, entering today with one of his Hernandez brothers' stablemates, Mexican Shia. Both of these men actually picked up a win, and Hernandez's win was necessary for him to get into this match, starting at 3-0. Now, if you are a regular watcher of the GAW main roster, and you absolutely should be, you will remember Eddie Hernandez from the GAW Academy Showcase before Winterfest. He actually beat Flyboy in that match. So Hernandez has a little bit of experience with the showcase. He is looking to be just the second person ever to compete in multiple showcases, and he will be the first person ever to win them both. So good for Eddie Hernandez to get himself back into this position, but it certainly is a tall ask to beat a man who has never been beaten in the Academy. Our first qualifier starts right now. So the winner here will be one of the two men fighting in the Academy Showcase. Garrett Gibson starts off by driving Eddie Hernandez's back into the canvas. We'll see if this canvas can actually hold up after what Overload did to it. I'm told that basically the crew just brought in a new ring, and the one that Overload caved in is basically beyond repair. That I can believe. Clothesline from Hernandez, ducked into a soul kick from Gibson, and now Gibson with a big DDT. And because this match isn't for points, you really need to keep your eye on Mexican Shia and what he might do on the outside to help out Eddie Hernandez. We'll have to keep an eye on him going forward. We have one other man in this tournament, by the way, who has already competed in a GAW Academy Showcase. It is Ulysses Sky, who just missed out in being in one of these matches because he lost the tiebreaker because of his record. Mexican Shia slides a chair in, a little too close for comfort there from Eddie Hernandez. Garrett Gibson won his match earlier with a big All-American clothesline. And Hernandez with a nice combination there. Mexican Shia distracting the referee. Hernandez rolls over Garrett Gibson for the cover. The referee was not in a position to make the count. I don't know if it really would have mattered all that much. Hernandez tossing Gibson over his shoulder. We've seen Hernandez be a part of several great matches, and he has a variety of moves that he uses to pick up the win. This time Garrett Gibson drives him home with a powerbomb. Hernandez staggers him back against the top rope. Hernandez slides underneath, and Hernandez with a Hurricane Rana. Eddie Hernandez is so versatile, such a terrific athlete. If there's anyone that could end Garrett Gibson's undefeated run, it might be Hernandez, and a big Revolution knee strike. Gibson answers with a clothesline, and now Mexican Shia is up, distracting the Lone Star. Hernandez plants him with a Uranagi. Garrett Gibson didn't even let the referee make a count. That is how strong the Lone Star is. Eddie Hernandez comes in with really a mixed martial arts and more traditional fighting background. And it's where he gets this kind of strength. Look at this. Hernandez with a triple power bomb on Garrett Gibson. I don't think Gibson is very used to being hoisted like that. Hernandez now going up top. Hernandez with the drive-by. Hernandez hooks the far leg. Is he going back to the Academy Showcase? Hernandez has handed Garrett Gibson his first loss. With the help of Mexican Shia, Eddie Hernandez has handed Garrett Gibson his first GAW Academy loss. Wow. Eddie Hernandez is headed back to the GAW Academy Showcase for the second time, trying to be the first person ever to win multiple Academy Showcases. Congratulations to Eddie Hernandez. Our final match. Oh, this is a good one. I'm excited for this. It will see Oliver Parker, the Oni King, take on Buccaneer Kurt Andrews.
Garrett Gibson. We've already seen Kurt Andrews once tonight. And this time the Buccaneer fighting with a little more on the line than just 2 points. A spot in the Academy Showcase. And you heard Yunsan Park talk about it, what it means when you're in that showcase. And Park would know better than anyone that when you're there, just sometimes by virtue of being in the building during a GAW show, it can lead to some big-time opportunities for you. And certainly Kurt Andrews is one of the men that many believe does have a future on the GAW main roster. The man that the Buccaneer will have to battle is the Oni King, Oliver Parker. And now this is the first time that we are seeing Oliver Parker in a singles capacity. Of course, we saw him win one of the opening battle royals back in episode 1. But to see him go from a singles perspective is going to be tremendous, because Oliver Parker really is one of the top talents that we have here. And really a guy who I am shocked even agreed to come to the Academy. So many guys would, when you have his pedigree coming in, I think so many guys would demand that they go straight to the main roster, would demand that they deserve more. But Oliver Parker is here to prove that no matter what company he's in, he is the dominant force, and certainly he has done a whole lot to prove that. They call him the Oni King. Well, it's the Oni King versus the Buccaneer in the main event today. Winner goes on to face Eddie Hernandez in the Academy Showcase. Andrew starts out by jumping him into the corner. A flying crossbody no-go, and Oliver Parker with a clothesline answer. Oliver Parker, they call him again the Oni King, and it's because of his deep connection with Japan. He is American. He grew up in the United States, but he moved to Japan when he was about 17 years old, and he very quickly became almost like a local there in Japan. He, like Andrew Wesley, is a former Pancrase welterweight champion. He won that belt in Osaka when Pancrase was having an event there. Oliver Parker is the only American to be considered Dragon Gate Trueborn. He began training with Dragon Gate. That's where he began his professional wrestling journey when he was 22 years old. Kurt Andrews now, look at this, soul kick enziguri combination. Oliver Parker won the Open the Brave Gate Championship, also the first American to do that. Andrews looking to end his night early with the Eye of the Storm. Oliver Parker sees it and now turns that into a knee bar. Oliver Parker is one of the most balanced wrestlers that you will find on this roster. His submissions, his athletic style, his aerial moves, his strikes, all of it is absolutely almost flawless. And Kurt Andrews now has him in a bow and arrow type, a standing bow and arrow type position, drops him down. Andrews kick to the back, and now Kurt Andrews going for the cover here. Oliver Parker kicks out. Neither of these men have competed in a GAW Academy Showcase before, and of course, like I mentioned, Kurt Andrews, he made his Academy debut in this tournament. Andrews now with a leg drop guillotine. Meanwhile, Oliver Parker has actually only been in the Academy for 2 months, and for about 5 weeks of that, he was nursing an ankle injury that kept him out of competition. Andrews going up top with the giant moonsault from Kurt Andrews. Like I said, Andrews is such a terrific athlete. He really controls the pace of his matches so well, and we saw it here. Andrews again. Oh my goodness, Phoenix Splash from Kurt Andrews. A couple big-time high-flying maneuvers, leg hooked, and Oliver Parker kicks out. I needed some real strength to kick out of that one. Strike pushed aside by Parker, and Oliver Parker now drives him down with the Trueborn. Deep stack, Kurt Andrews kicks out. That move named Trueborn is, of course, a reference to Parker's status as Dragon Gate Trueborn, a title that he takes great pride in, as he should. It is impressive for any American to be accepted into the Dragon Gate Academy, and Kurt Andrews with a gun stun. Oliver Parker was accepted because of his tremendous MMA credentials, as well as just his unending drive. If you talk to anyone about Oliver Parker, then you will hear about how hard he works. And sometimes he goes a little bit too far with it. You know, we've seen him carry out vicious physical attacks against opponents in the past, but his intensity and his drive really cannot be matched. And I think we're seeing it in this match. Parker may have been going for Trueborn again, and he's caught with a flying crossbody. Both of these men are such terrific athletes as well. And Parker now, look at this, Dragon Sleeper wrenching back. He's actually sat down on it. Referee chastising him for keeping it going through the rope break. Andrews gets the knee up and now clotheslines Parker over the top. Andrews from the top rope. High risk, high reward here for Kurt Andrews as he comes down with the axe handle, lands on his feet, but Oliver Parker avoided the worst of it. Under 5 minutes to go. It's worth noting that if we get a draw here, then actually we'll just see a rematch of Hernandez versus Gibson in the Academy Showcase. Long way still to go as Parker comes down with a big kick to the side of the head of Kurt Andrews. And Parker, look at this. Driving his foot into the chest of Kurt Andrews. Rapid stomps with the arms trapped, leg hooked, and Andrews kicks out. Parker could be looking to end the night for the new XCW Intercontinental Championship. Parker hoists him up, but Andrews drops him back down with a reverse DDT. The night can end at any second because both of these men come in with absolutely devastating moves that will put their opponents to sleep in seconds. We saw Andrews use his earlier on tonight when he used the Eye of the Storm to pick up a win over Stefford Drummond. And obviously Stefford Drummond none too happy with it. Parker hangs him up on the top rope. Parker now has the back end. Parker drives him down. Power bomb, deep stack. Parker down on it in. Kurt Andrews kicks out at 2.5. Oh, wow, what a match. The winner earns the right to fight Eddie Hernandez. And look at this, Andrews now, backslide driver, deep stack. Andrews could have Parker in trouble. Parker powers out. Hernandez, as I said, has experience in a GAW Academy Showcase, so he's got to feel good about where he's coming. But certainly you can't feel great knowing that you have to come up against either of these men. Tiger Bomb from Kurt Andrews. Wow. Andrews looking for the arm of Parker, drives it down. Andrews, couple big moves here, and now going for the cover, just trying to put some pressure on the Oni King. Parker kicks out. These guys have earned their standing right now. Parker coming in at 2-1 plus a win in the opening battle royal. Andrews with a German suplex. And Kurt Andrews in the Stormchaser tournament is currently 3-0. He is undefeated in the GAW Academy, although, of course, as I said, he debuted just a couple weeks ago.
So certainly not like Garrett Gibson losing his undefeated streak to Eddie Hernandez. Oliver Parker now, Trueborn again. Parker could have ended things for Kurt Andrews. Oliver Parker is going to the showcase. Oliver Parker has to hit a second Trueborn, and it takes a whole lot to kick out of one of them. I'll tell you that right now. Kurt Andrews gave him everything he can handle, but Oliver Parker at the end of the day avoids the eye of the storm and instead hits Kurt Andrews with a second Trueborn to end the night. And it means that Oliver Parker will head to GAW in just 2 days and will fight Eddie Hernandez in the GAW Academy Showcase. That is going to be an incredible match. I hope you are all looking forward to it, and I hope that you will all tune in to watch that match next episode of GAW Wednesday Night Storm. That is coming up in just 2 days, so hold on to your hats. That is going to be an incredible match. Folks, thank you so much once again for joining us here for GAW Academy Stormchaser. Congratulations to Oliver Parker and Eddie Hernandez. We'll see you on Friday. We appreciate you.
Calm before the storm, things aren't as they were.